So put in paper. So start thinking, what would your ideal life be, right? Your relationships, what do you do on a daily basis, health-wise. Start thinking what it will be. And the second thing that people do wrong is they think about what they don't want, right? I don't want to live like this. I don't want to be with this lady or this man or whatever. I don't like this job. So our thoughts are creative, and every single thought we have is actually putting energy in the universe, is creating it. So if we keep repeating what we don't want, guess what we are creating? More of what we don't want, right? So Jeff is, some of you know my story, how I released over 50 pounds of weight that I was carrying around, and Jeff actually helped me with that. Because the next thing you want to do is when you decide what you want to find somebody that already has it, and then model that person, right? And when I look at Jeff, he always been in good shape. He exercises every day, and I wasn't. So I look up to him, and he was actually my accountability partner through that process where I released that weight. And something that I really like and admire about Jeff is the way he handles his family. He has a beautiful wife, a wonderful relationship with her, 2 kids that are amazing. And one of them is actually quite a manifester, right? So we're going to talk about that on the next segment. So you don't want to miss the next segment, because Zach is quite, you were telling me a story, amazing about wanting desiring something, right? And actually making happen. But why don't you tell us a little bit about relationships? So what are a couple of things, a couple of takeaways that you learned that is really working in your life that maybe can help some of our viewers?
Okay. What I'll do is I'm just going to share my intimate relationship with my wife Stephanie, and with my 2 boys. What we try to do is kind of like with Facebook. We try to we want to have like as many friends as we possibly can, and I think it's the quality of your relationships, not the quantity of them. And I had learned this a couple of years back. I went to a boot camp, and one of the things that I do on a daily basis, and what they call it daily deposits. And what daily deposits are is you take 2, 3 of your closest relationships, your spouse, your kids, your nephew, your niece, a really good friend, and what you do is on a daily basis you send them a message. And typically today the way we get messages sent to most people is through texting, and that's what I do. I use the technology of today to help me keep in contact with my kids and with my wife. And through this daily deposit, the daily deposit it's a quick message to them of something that you love, appreciate, and honor in them, or one of the 3. And so I just send a quick message off to them. I'll send a message off to Alex or Zach, and I'll just say, you know what, we had a conversation yesterday. I'm so proud of you for how you're standing up for yourself. I love the way you're coming into being, this young man. You're just a delight to be around. And that's all I send. I'll just send just a quick message, or just a quick message just saying, I love you. I told all 3 of them that I was going to start this about 3-4 years ago, and I didn't expect anything back in return. So the reason it's called daily deposits is because we're depositing information into our relationships, that something that we love, we honor, and we appreciate in them. So if you do this on a daily basis, just like if every day you walk to the bank and you put 10 bucks in, you put $10 into the bank every day, and in 30 days you got $300. So a month from now you need to go pull some money out. It's easy. It's easy to take a withdrawal. So in our days and with our relationships, all days aren't perfect. So I might have a day where I'm just having a crappy day, and one of the kids comes in, or Stephanie comes in, and I kind of I get mad at him. I'm like, not the right time, I can't talk to you, and I kind of I'm mean to them. And they walk away, and they're like, Dad was being an asshole today. But they'll say, you know what, with the daily deposits, I know that that's not the kind of person that he is. So this is just a little tool that takes me 3 minutes a day. I take about a minute per person. I send a message off to them, something that they absolutely love. And I know I was driving over to California with Zach, about 2 months ago, and we were talking about it. And he goes, one of the things that I love is the daily deposits. He goes, I don't always send you messages back, but he goes, I look forward to them.
Wow.
So it's really kind of interesting to see the other side of it too. But it doesn't take much time. And here what you're doing is you're keeping this relationship built up, things that really matter to you, and you're not taking them for granted.
Right. But they applied it and they built it. So about a year and a half ago, David and I, we've known each other for 25 years. Right. About a year and a half ago, we got together and he shared an idea with me. I went like, oh my God, this sounds like very hard. You know, I don't think that's gonna work. You know, whatever. And then I forgot about it, right? And then a year and a couple of months later, I gave him a call. He's there in OHIO. He's there in Columbus, Ohio. And then he started telling me what's going on in his business. I said, oh my God, how did you make that happen, right? So tell us, David. Tell us about your story. How do you make that happen? Huge business.
The first thing that's most important is I could see it before it existed.
Vision.
I could see it before it existed. I actually, you could taste it, smell it. It was there, and I leapt in the spirit. If you get up in the morning and you have enthusiasm, and it isn't even there yet, that's an idea. But then you have to develop it. And so the main thing is, first get an idea that you leap in the spirit for. And I like to think of, you talk about people and principles. I always think, I sometimes share, I call it the gospel according to Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders!
So if I got the story right, Colonel Sanders...
That's with a white suit, right? Yes, yes.
So it's all the chicken place. But do you know, I think his first franchise was when he was 65 years old.
Wow.
And you read his story, it was hard, but he could see it. He could smell it. It smelled good. Fried chicken. Right? And he had the special recipe. But he had a vision of what it was going to do. And we can think of other stories like that. But the most important thing, because I like to relate to individuals.
Exactly.
Your story doesn't have to, you don't have to become McDonald's. You become your own vision purpose.
Exactly.
It can be big. The main thing is you have to enjoy it. You have to see it. And you actually have to know it has value for other people.
For other people.
If it's all about you, forget it.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Totally.
So let's talk about how you get a vision, and then the vision develops because you have to share it with others. Alone, most visions don't go anywhere.
Exactly.
So
you're
now
like a Lone Ranger.
It's a story. Now, in the beginning, Pablo, you heard my story, my vision, but you didn't smell it, taste it, feel it.
I didn't smell it, I didn't taste it, I didn't feel it.
I didn't push it on you.
Yes.
Because here's another principle. Ditch the pitch. Pablo's a friend of mine. I don't pitch him. I don't hammer him. I have a conversation with him. And you know what? I shared information with him, and then I went about my business of developing my own vision and purpose and dream, because I could see it and see where it was going. So I went out to develop it. Now I can share it with other people, because the funny part is when it happens, when it develops, it takes time and hard work, a lot of involvement, but the work is worth it because the work is actually exciting. We got up at 5:30 this morning. To go to a breakfast meeting, but we weren't struggling to do it. We were in eager expectation of who we would meet and what would happen there, because we had purpose when we went to the breakfast meeting.
Exactly.
So what I share with you is, first, develop your own vision, and then I like to journal. That's a principle.
Absolutely.
I write it down. If I'm thinking of something, I think of something in the shower or whatever. I have a notepad by my bed. I write it down.
And my own journal right here. This is my journal with my vision board in it. So I don't go anywhere without it, because ideas, you got an idea, you write it down, right?
Right. So
we have a couple of things in common, don't we?
We sure did. Yeah. You know, you mentioned a vision board. You mentioned a vision board.
Yeah.
Okay, what is a vision board? Well, a vision board are things that are important to you. Now, I created it. I like to do it not with just arbitrary pictures. I take personal pictures from my life. How about a 5-pound rainbow trout I caught in Glacier National Park?
Wow.
with a beautiful lake. I have the picture of that. I put it up because I want to go back there. How about going horseback riding with my son? How about, I did mission work with orphans in Mexico, so I'm there with orphans in Mexico. And I put these pictures on a board because these things, first of all, are important to me. They excite me, but they also, I can do these things again and more so if I have a successful business that empowers me to have choice and freedom in my life.
Exactly.
So I would just say you develop these things, and it's not overnight, and you can build on them. It's not static. You don't do it once and it's over.
Exactly.
You keep doing it, and actually, as you know, Pablo, when I had my vision a year ago and started, I adjusted. I found out what worked. I found out I thought this was going to work, but it's a little hard, but I found out people like this. So I do the things and I keep adjusting, just like a coach in a football game. You have a game plan, but then you keep adjusting through the plan.
Right. But they applied it and they built it. So about a year and a half ago, David and I, we've known each other for 25 years. Right. About a year and a half ago, we got together and he shared an idea with me. I went like, oh my God, this sounds like very hard. I don't think that's gonna work. Whatever. And then I forgot about it, right? And then a year and a couple of months later, I gave him a call. He's there in OHIO. He's there in Columbus, Ohio, and then he started telling me what's going on in his business. I said, oh my God, how did you make that happen, right? So tell us, David. Tell us about your story. How do you make that happen? Huge business.
The first thing that's most important is I could see it before it existed.
Vision.
I could see it before it existed. I actually, you could taste it, smell it. It was there, and I leapt in the spirit. If you get up in the morning and you have enthusiasm,
that when you're confident into who you really are, when you step into your power, there is nothing that will ever stop you. So knowing who you are, knowing what you want, are really keys to success. What happens very often with my clients and even with other people, and what happened throughout my path, throughout my journey, is you think you know what you want. You want something because you think that once you have that thing, you will be happy. But you don't really realize what is the root of what you're wanting. What do you truly want and why? So when I started to work with my clients, when we start to work on their deepest desires, their relationships start thriving. Their business start thriving. They start to be really confident into who they are, and because they were true to themselves, they start to manifest and attract what they truly wanted. So it has been an incredible journey, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, everything about you is always fun and making things happen, right? So I have to tell you, I love your accent, right? And you probably heard that before. It's like, I have an accent.
It's because you have an accent.
And people say like, oh my God, you're the good-looking guy with the accent. And like, everyone remembers my accent, right? So tell us about your accent. Where are you from? How did you manifest that beautiful voice that people are watching and listening to?
Thank you so much. So originally I'm from Czech Republic, and when I was growing up there, I somehow deep inside knew that there must be something bigger to life than just go through the school. I did my college back then, and then I'm like, what do I do now in my life? So I started to think about adventuring and traveling, and I moved to London when I was 21. So I'm just a little bit older than 21, by the way.
A few months.
Just a few months, so I can have alcohol with me that.
There you go.
Anyway, so I moved to London, and then from London I moved to Spain. And I think it was like 2008, 2009, when the crisis started, economic crisis started. It started to be really hard because I was working as an accountant, like a bookkeeper in a little company, and because money started to be shared everywhere, I was starting to think like, oh, I wish I could go back to school. I wish I could do something else than just doing what I'm doing, because I had a degree in economics. So I'm like, what could I do? And it was that time when I met a family friend that he lived in the United States, and he told me, you are so bright. I want to give you something that no one can ever take away from you. And that friend told me back then, education is the one thing that nobody can ever take away from you.
That's right.
So he told me, if you can get here to college, to Las Vegas, we will sponsor your college degree, because they were doing international exchange student. So I was like, okay, why not?
Why not, right?
So I flew to Las Vegas, I passed the test, and I just moved in here 9 years ago. And I did, in that time, I did my college, I did associate business degree, I did my bachelor in marketing, and I also did my master business degree. So I went through all of this business, and when I started to work in the office, I found out that all the external things, all the marketing, all the business, it's not the thing that really makes the people and businesses that thrive. What truly make you happy and fulfilled is the relationships. So I started my personal journey back there, and it has been evolving since that. Now I have my podcast, I am a private fitness coach, I'm a meditation teacher, and I'm a confidence coach for entrepreneurs, mainly women, who have a big mission on their heart, and they're not bold enough yet to step into their power and to truly embrace who they are and who they believe in.
Social media shows
is about branding, opportunity,
and outreach.
We are an entertainment company that empowers others
by promoting and supporting our community
and everyone who reaches our content.
Here on social media shows,
we're a family.
We are family.
We are family.
We are family. We are family.
So we are family.
We are family, and we want you to be part of our social media shows family.
And one of the things that is very, very impressive, right, is that we're talking about faith and how actually faith is such an important component when you want to create the life that you deserve, the life that you actually desire, right, that you were created to live, right? So faith is very important. We share some strategies, how you can increase your faith. And one of the things that always come up, right, is that when we grew up as kids, sometimes we were programmed as little kids. Psychologists say that most of our personality, most of our identity was actually kind of like almost like made in stone by the time we were 6 or 7 years old, right? All that programming in our subconscious mind. But then one of the beautiful things about our DNA is that if we don't like the way we are, we can change it, right? Now, it takes a little bit of work. It's not like overnight, but we can change it, right? And one of the things that happen to a lot of people, they say like, oh, I'd like to manifest this in my life, right? But that would be more than what my parents had, right? And I will feel a little guilty.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe I'm making my parents wrong.
Maybe I'm making my parents wrong. Maybe I'm proving that they were not successful as I am, right? So one of the things we want to invite you, if that happens to be your case, or if you know somebody that is in that situation, just type their name, tag their name, so they can come and hear this, right? Because don't forget one thing. Your parents will be proud of you actually doing better than them. Think about you. wouldn't, let's say you create your life, wouldn't you like your kids to do actually better? And then one day you find out your grandkids do even better. You will feel they're an extension of you because they actually are, right? So a lot of the times people, they want to create a better life, but they have subconscious blockages, right?
Yeah.
That don't allow them to move forward, right?
A big one, which we talked about together, is this belief that to be successful you have to be a jerk.
That's right.
And, or, you know, that's a nice word for it. Or that you're going to destroy the planet. And you know, the sad thing is, the 4 biggest industries are the 4 worst polluters.
No kidding.
So, you know, if you look at what we have right now, your belief that being successful is also going to harm the planet is not unjustified. I'm here to tell you it's untrue. You can make an incredible life, earning incredible money, making the world a better place. And every time you put your foot on that path, you show the world that it can be done. Faith and wind. I love that because guess what? When the wind comes from behind you, you don't know it's coming.
Exactly.
You have to have faith that
it is
there's
coming.
wind that
That's
will
it.
fill your sail.
Yes.
And you've got to get in the right direction, and you have to have faith that that wind will carry you. Because when it comes from behind, you can't see it.
Absolutely.
And you're not going to feel it till it's already there.
Absolutely.
And that is what faith really is.
Very, very powerful.
You need to act as if before it ever happens. You can't wait for it to happen. That's not faith.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know one thing that I learned also is that when you talk to people that have overcome a lot of adversity, right? Is like we all got knocked down. It's like we think somebody's gonna say yes and they don't, right? We think somebody's gonna show up and they don't, right? We think a huge project is gonna move forward and then for some reason it doesn't. That happens to everybody. The difference is how long do you stay knocked down? How long do you stay in the mud? So this is something that we all have the same situation. We're gonna feel down, but some people stay there for 2 weeks or 2 months. Some people even 2 years later. Like I met this lady a while ago, and she was telling me about this guy that did all these bad things to her, or whatever, you know. And I was like really feeling for her. I was listening, right, being a good friend. And then I said, "So when did that happen?" "Oh, that was like 12 years ago." And I go like, "Are you kidding me?" You know, I thought that was her last relationship, you know. And then I go like, "Then you have been carrying that for 12 years, you know. I give you permission to let that go, right?" So when something happens, I love what you say. Hey, just take action. What can you do? And one thing that you did that was very interesting, you had health challenges, and you became a health expert. Now you're teaching thousands of people about health. So that's called the adversity advantage, by the way. The adversity advantage. When you get adversity, and instead of making that stop you, you say, well, how can I use this in my favor? Because God knows if you would be an eminence in nutrition and health today, if you didn't have your own health challenge or in your family, right?
You know what? I love to tell people because it's so true. The challenges I've had in my health and in other ways have kept me humble.
Wow.
You know, I have so much more compassion now than I used to.
Because you can understand other people, right?
I really do understand that not everybody can do everything. And, you know, I was in many ways very arrogant when I was younger because I had a lot of capability to do things and accomplish things. And without the challenges I've had, I don't know that I would be the human I am. And I'm happy with who I am.
That's a powerful thought, right? Sometimes the universe has a way to say, hey, you need to move in this direction or that, you know?
Yeah.
One thing that I use that has really helped me is like, what's great about this? Is like the questions that we ask determine our focus on a particular situation, right? So sometimes you may be watching like a movie or a TV program and you see these people that when there's like chaos, right, and a lot of stress going on or whatever, they can still remain calm.
I know,
right? They can still remain calm, and that's the hero. That's kind of like the hero of the movie, right? And there's always somebody that is kind of like the coward or like, oh my God, we're gonna die or whatever, you know. And it's just like we have the power to be either of those people. How we reacting to the exactly same situation. So if we learn to ask questions that can empower us, instead of saying negative things like we're all gonna die or why is this happening to me, and I say, you know what? What is great about what just happened, right? How can we get this situation and turn it into a positive, right?
And you know, if you find this is hard for you, like you're saying, well, they don't know what I've been going through. Because I can just hear somebody out there going, well, they don't know what I've done.
Right.
You know, they haven't had that challenge, whatever it may be to them. Here's what I recommend. Give yourself some compassion, but limit it. So I tell people, if you really feel stuck in an emotion or a feeling or a situation that you haven't been able to get through for whatever reason, set a timer. Give yourself 15 or 20 or 30 minutes. And don't let yourself think of anything except all that negativity. Wear yourself out. So by the end of that 30 minutes, you're like, God, I am so sick of this. Wear yourself out and then say, all right, enough.
That's a great idea. I mean, that's a great strategy that anybody can actually apply. Because sometimes I think if you don't bring it out, then it might be still there, right?
If you stuff it. I don't care how positive you're telling yourself, in the back of your mind, there's this stuff going like this. Just eating away. Bring it up. Yeah, I'm mad that Aunt Mary stole all of the money in the family. You know, my kids don't have what they should have because of that. You know, that's pretty legit. Pretty legit to feel that way. Can you change Aunt Mary? No. Can you get the money back? No. Are your kids gonna? No. All right. Feel really bad for 30 minutes, and then let's go forward.
That's very powerful. It's definitely powerful because, see, one of the things that I learned is that it's like kind of interesting. When you have a dream or you want something to happen, and maybe you plan like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, and then something happens that it was not in the plan, right?
Yep.
And what I learned is, like, I don't remember what I heard that, but it says every time we create something in our minds, it's like the universe is going to challenge you to see if you really want it and if you really deserve it, right? And by the way, the answer is yes. But do you really want it, right? Do you really want it that you're going to move through to make it happen?
Are you congruent? Is your energy flowing at a high enough rate to manifest that dream? Because if you're dragged down by Aunt Mary from 20 years ago, you'd better let her go.
Exactly.
Because that dream can't carry her.
Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. And just leave the past in the past, right? Leave the past in the past. So learn from the past. Learn from those things that happen. Like so many times people say, like, this happened to me, it was bad, but I learned from it.
Yep.
So now it will never happen to me again, right? So we here at manifestingyourdreams.net, we're sharing some ideas with Barbara. She manifested her dream home. And we're going to talk about your daughter on the next segment because she shares some amazing things about her daughter. You don't want to miss that. So start thinking about what you want to manifest. Start creating faith. We're going to give you a couple of tips how you can actually make your faith bigger, stronger, because we want to have you in our show. Okay, in a few months and in a couple of years, we want to have you manifesting your dreams, and we're going to celebrate with you.
When I was 18 years old, I was delivering these empty bottles to these locations, and so I was there in the beginning of a lot of these companies. And now, as we drive up and down the I-15 corridor, there's actually exits that are designated different companies as you go up the freeway. So, absolutely amazing upbringing. But as I was driving, as I was delivering those bottles out there, my dad wanted me to do something more than that. In fact, it was instilled in me that where you'll be 5 years down the road will depend upon, at that point, it was the books you read, the tapes you listen to. You remember tapes?
Yep, tapes. I still have them.
And
a lot of them.
And the people that you associate with. And so it was one of those situations where I took that to heart. And as I was in his delivery trucks, I would have the old headphones on. You remember it had the little steel thing and the foam cushions with a little orange on the side of them. I would wear those, and on the seat next to me was a cassette recorder. You know, it had a little pop-up top. You'd slide the cassette in, push it down, hit play, and away you go. Well, I just thought I could miss nothing. I mean, I was on my way. And 5 years later, I was no longer working for my dad's company.
Wow.
I'd accepted a position. He encouraged me to get employment outside of the family business. I found myself in a garbage truck. And I was out picking up other people's refuse. And I needed just to back up just a little bit, and probably my worst day in that garbage truck was over the it was the 4th of July holiday. We're just coming up on the 4th of July. And I can remember having to get in that truck when everybody else was at my house having pizza and enjoying the holiday. I got a call, and I had to go get in my truck and go out to a grocery store, Smith's grocery store, where our recycling container was overflowing.
Oh my God!
That week they had so many.
Oh man!
I mean, it was the glass bin that had overflowed, and so I was out there picking up people's empty beer bottles, wine bottles, and putting them in there. And I can remember that as I would pick them up, I'd have to stand up on the step and put them in the hole where they were supposed to go. They would be dripping out, and I had my gloves soaked, I was soaked, and it's like here I was picking up somebody else's refuse, and the most difficult time I had was climbing back in that truck, putting those headphones back on and pushing play, because I thought, it's been 5 years, and nothing has changed for me. In fact, I'm worse off than I was. But I'll tell you what, just quickly from that point, because of what I was putting into my mind on a daily basis, it was just 2 years from there, I was an area vice president for the world's largest garbage company. I had 37 salespeople that reported to me in 7 states and parts of Canada.
Wow.
And that, 2 years later, I had a bonus, a year-end bonus, that I paid more taxes on my year-end bonus than I made an entire year.
Wow.
So, yeah, it might be a little longer than 5 years, but it really depends upon what you put into your mind. So we'll get into that a little bit more as we get a chance to
Absolutely. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because so many times our society has this pervasive idea, right, that some people are more talented than others, or some people are really lucky, or that success actually happens so quickly, right? Oh, this person had an idea and they became successful, right? And when you get to know people that really have been successful and they really tell you the truth, then you find out some of the things that you said. How many people might have quit in 4 years, 2 years, 1 year? It's like we live in a society that has a microwave mentality where they want instant success, but for 5 years you were putting it like just watering that little seed, right? Putting all that good stuff into your mind, but also at one moment you made a decision, right? You said, okay, this is going in one direction, I need to crank it up a little bit, right? And that decision 2 years later took you to where, to where you ended up. So that's fantastic. So just know that when you pursue your dreams, you will have to pay the price, right? It's not just kind of like The Secret, kind of like sold the idea into like, oh, I just have to sit down and visualize what I want, right? And believe it for 5 minutes every day, and then it's going to show up, right? Like the pizza delivery guy, right? It doesn't work like that. Every single thought we have is created, every single one, right? So not just the ones that we have a couple of times during the day.
But what really is exciting for me is my mentor in the industry that I participated in is a guy by the name of Cheryl Hill. And he was the first instructor for the Napoleon Hill Academy.
No way!
They're not related.
Okay.
But he was the first instructor for that Napoleon Hill Academy. So I grew up learning at his feet. I actually knew him from the time I was a young man. And he was just a very dear friend. And he actually hired me at my very first job in the industry that I work in. He recently passed away, but he taught us, those of us who were fortunate enough to listen to him and experience it, how to really do things like manifest your destiny. I remember I was a government employee when I first graduated with a master's degree, and I went to work for the government thinking somehow I was going to change the world. And they paid me, I think I was making somewhere around maybe $14,000 to $17,000 a year as a government employee. I later, under the tutelage of my friend, when I went to work with him in a company, I later reached a point where I was making that much in a month.
Wow.
And I never thought that was even possible. I didn't understand the dynamics of how you can expand your belief system so that it'll take you from a point where it's almost beyond your belief of how you're struggling, you're wondering how you're going to pay your bills, you're wondering if you can go buy something extra in your life, that you can't really afford, to being in a situation where you really can enjoy the abundance of what life really has to offer. And the difference really is really right here. In fact, he used to use a little thing that he would talk about is the distance between success and failure is this big. Exactly this big.
Wow.
And it goes right here.
Wow. That's a great
And so he used to teach us that all the time. Just remember, the distance between success and failure is this big. And, you know, it really was an impressive thing to be here today talking about Napoleon Hill, where I'd had the opportunity to learn at the feet of one of the masters of the Napoleon Hill Academy. Thank you.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. And you say something that is so valuable because it doesn't matter where you are today, right? Is your life can change just with one decision, right? One decision.
You have
your
no
life can
idea.
change.
You actually have no idea how much you can actually change your life. And really, the opportunities are all around you. You just need to open your eyes and open your mind.
Thank you, man. You enjoying the show, baby?
Yes, I do. I guess you like this honey, huh?
That's some good honey, baby. That's not the honey I want. I want this honey. Oh yeah, baby. See, bet you can't compete with this, huh? That smells so sweet, baby. Oh, can you feel that? Oh, that's so good, girl. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's the stuff. Oh, this is.
principles, and we have a guest that actually has manifested his or her dreams. That way we can give you some ideas, tips, strategies, or inspiration, so you can also manifest your dreams, because it is possible, but there's a little bit of a recipe, there's a little bit of a formula that you actually have to follow through. So if this is the first time watching us, welcoming. And I'm here with a very good friend of mine, Dr. Donald Ocello. He is a very well-known chiropractor here in town, and we met 7, 8, 9 years ago. Probably 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, we were at Toastmasters.
Toastmasters. So we were both at Toastmasters, and I remember he was giving a speech it was a speech competition, and he was phenomenal. So, oh my God, this guy is so good. And I need to say hi, and that's how we met. And then we had a local practice here in town. So we have people watching, God knows where from, maybe all over the world. Just type down where you're watching for. We like to know that. Just put it at the bottom. So why don't you introduce yourself, tell our viewers a little bit about you, your background, and so they get to know you a little better.
Sure thing. Thank you very much, sir. Hello, everybody. My name is Donald Ocello. I'm a doctor of chiropractic. My office, Championship Chiropractic, is located in the beautiful city of Las Vegas. I've been practicing here since 2005. I have a family practice, but my passion is really treating athletes. I treat athletes of all ages, all sports, and all levels. Doesn't matter if someone is a recreational athlete, if someone is an intermediate athlete, or if they are a more advanced athlete. Doesn't matter if the sport is running, if it's football, if it's swimming, gymnastics, or if someone just likes to hit the gym every day. Everybody is an athlete, and I love to treat athletes at my practice, Championship Chiropractic.
And the chapter that we're going over, if you think about your dreams, right, we talk about having a definite purpose, right? One of the reasons some people succeed is because they have a very clear outcome, what they want to achieve. And people that fail, when they have an outcome, and then when they run into some challenges, they say, well, maybe this is not for me, and they keep jumping and jumping from one thing to the other one, right? We talk actually about having imagination. We talk about having faith. We talk about having the desire, right? Because there are going to be challenges at anything that we do. But there's one area that, interesting enough, you really don't get to hear a lot when you take courses about manifesting or goal setting, and that is acquire specialized knowledge, okay? And this is the part that takes a lot of effort, right? So if you want to be successful at anything, right, yes, you have to have heart. Yes, you have to have determination. But you want to become an expert in your field. You want to take the time that it takes to learn and become an expert, right? And I don't have the statistics with me right now, but I know how many people, they get into college. It's not easy to get into college, right? And then they don't finish, right? Or they say, oh, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a doctor, right? And maybe they quit along the way, right? So we have somebody that actually went through all those challenges. He got his degree, and then after they get the degree, is okay, now I have a degree, now I have to put it in practice, right? Overcoming challenges, right? So Don actually is one of those people that actually had a very successful practice. And by the way, if you have any friends that like to run or like to exercise, type their name at the bottom, and we're going to talk about his book a little later, but he actually has a published book with amazing information about running, which is something that we like to do, in places like Las Vegas, right?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what kept you going when you were going to school, and the challenges, getting your education, getting your specialized knowledge, and that never ends, right? Because now you have to continue with that education. So what's a couple of tips you can share with us?
That is actually an excellent question. I feel that no matter what we are doing in life, you have to have the heart. You had mentioned the heart. You have to have the passion. You have to have the drive. And you put those things together and you work hard consistently. You figure out whatever it is that you want to do, and you consistently work towards that goal. Now, going to chiropractic college, yes, it was very tough. We learned a great deal. There was a joke in the first couple semesters where they used to say that going to chiropractic college the first couple semesters was like trying to take a drink of water from a fire hydrant, because all this information is just trying to get pushed right at you. And obviously we had to take our anatomy, our physiology, the biochemistry, all of the basic sciences, the pre-med type courses to get into chiropractic college. But in chiropractic culture, we have to know not only anatomy, but what we call the functional anatomy. We have to know how the joints work. We have to know how the muscles work, how the nervous system works, how the fascia works, and how that all interlaces together, and why injuries occur, and what we can do to help those people not only to recover from those injuries, but to, first of all, to prevent those injuries in the very beginning, and then to recover from those injuries, and use every tool that we possibly can and they possibly can to help them get better. First of all, the proper diagnosis, getting the right direction and figure out what exactly that person needs. And then the treatment protocols in the office. And then one thing that I love to do is patient education. Teaching people things that they can do outside of my office that can help them to live a healthier, fitter, more functional life. It could be exercises, it could be general exercise, it could be specific exercise, it could be nutrition. Ergonomics is very important, so that's another point that I stress. Recovery. Recovery is the most neglected part of health and fitness. So we have to make sure that people are recovering not only with their injuries, but from their everyday activities and from their training. So all that adds into helping a person recover from their injury, prevent their injury, and live a healthier, fitter, more functional life. So those are all the things that I had to learn specifically. And like you mentioned, I'm still learning. I teach chiropractic continuing education webinars on sports medicine, but I also take a lot of webinars and I read a lot. And in order to teach the classes, I have to look at a lot of research papers, numerous research papers. So I'm always keeping up on what is going on with the research and learning new things about different conditions. So it's something where it is a continual learning process.
But we were talking with Kim about some of the things he's been able to manifest. If you haven't seen the previous segment, how he manifested his dream car, how he manifested the dream girl that he's still happily married and travel around the world with. So he's somebody that had taken the principles in this book, those 17 principles that Napoleon Hill identified, and put them to practice over decades now, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm sure that as you were manifesting all these dreams that you had, you went through challenges, right?
No.
You went through but you know what? It's kind of funny because people watched The Secret a few years ago, and they think all you have to do to get your dream life is sit down for 5 minutes every morning, put your order on the universe, and then go and drink a Coca-Cola, and things are going to show up at your door, right? Or that they're going to set a goal, they're going to take some action, and everybody's going to say yes, right? And we know that's not the case. So what made you special? How come you are able to manifest all your things, and you had a strategy to overcome obstacles, so when they run into obstacles, because we know they will, they could be a little bit better prepared? What can you share about that?
Absolutely. You know, one of my favorite quotes, and I don't even remember who it's by, to be honest with you, is that the definition of a pro is somebody who is faced with the same problems, challenges, and obstacles that everybody else is, yet they get the job done and they make it look easy. Right? When you look at successful people, whether they're paraded across the stage at a business function or whatever it might be, right?
Athletes.
Yeah, it could be athletes. You're sitting there going like, oh my gosh, I wish that was me, right? But a lot of times people would not have the inner resolve, the inner power to go through some of those challenges. Or we all have them, but you know, a lot of times people just kind of throw in the towel, right? Where others, they will power through them. And I've certainly had a number of those in my life. I mean, some of it has been financial ups and downs. I actually, amongst my peers or my sphere of influence, my network, I know a lot of people that are very successful, but I can't think of one of them that you would look at today and by most people's standards, you were like, they got an incredible lifestyle. I can't think of one of them that at some point in their life did not have serious challenges, you know. And some of them, it might have been financial challenges, some of them it might have been health challenges or whatever it was. But, and I don't know what people's spiritual beliefs are, but God seems to have a sense of humor, doesn't he? I mean, it's like...
Yeah, sometimes I'm not laughing, right?
Whenever,
funny later on, right?
Whenever we think we really figured it out, right, then he kind of throws us a curveball, and
yes.
you're going to have to figure it out. And let me just tell you kind of the short Reader's Digest version of a rather long story as to how I really made that decision to follow a success pattern like Think and Grow Rich. And it certainly is not the only thing that, you know, I've studied a lot of this. And it's, as I said in one of our previous segments, you know, I just made a decision early on to listen to people that had achieved what I wanted to achieve and not listen to people that kept on telling me it can't be done, because they were all broke, right? They hadn't done it. And when I first immigrated from my native Copenhagen, Denmark, I moved here to the U.S. at the ripe old age of 25 years old. And I had worked for a few years in corporate marketing and management with a Fortune 500 and a Fortune 100 company back in Europe. These are both massive, massive global companies. And I got this idea to move to the U.S. and literally just packed my bags and went, right? And I was married at the time. My wife was American, and she got homesick, so that's basically what spurred it on.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I remember that I arrived here and started looking for a job. You know, we were living with her mom at the time. And I would be sending out resumes and, you know, trying to get creative and get in front of people and try to network or whatever. I spoke with a much thicker accent back then.
You had an accent?
than I have now. And it was very difficult to find, because even though I had a degree in marketing, I'd worked for these companies, you know, Southern California, who cares about a Danish dude with a, you know, a degree that you had 100 people standing in line here, right?
Wow.
So it was very difficult for me. And I ended up registering with Manpower, you know, the temp agency.
Oh, yeah. My mother worked for Manpower in Argentina.
Oh, no
in
kidding.
Buenos Aires many years ago.
I mean, I remember this as if it was yesterday. And they called me up one day and they said, you know, they had a job for me. And it was like some kind of a driver position or whatever. And I was supposed to show up at this particular office, and I didn't need to wear a suit and a tie, but in their words, you had to be clean cut. Right?
Clean cut, okay, yes.
So I'm showing up at this facility, and I'm walking in, and it looked almost like a warehouse, and I'm like, hello, I couldn't really find anybody. And this guy walks over. I'm not kidding. I mean, this is many years ago, so I may be exaggerating a little bit, but he looked like he was at least 7 feet tall, right? And in a tank top, and comes over there, and he's kind of looking at me. Who are you, right? And I'm like, well, I was told to, you know, report here for this driver's position. And he says, I don't know about a driver's position. He says, you can start right over there. And it was like a manufacturing plant where they were putting these, you know, dividers for open office spaces, you know, for cubicles.
Like the cubicles.
Yeah.
Like the cubicle. Okay.
And I'm not knocking that kind of job, but it just did something to me, my psyche, right? I was like, there is no way. I'm going to figure this deal out. Right?
I think we all been there, right? When we got into a job and I said, I don't want to stay. I want to get my first paycheck and I need a way out really quick, right?
Yeah. So this was before the cell phones and all this. I went over to a payphone in the corner, called my wife at the time, told her to come pick me up. And needless to say, she was not a happy camper, right? We were as close to broke as you can get. And at that time, I had just been introduced to a direct marketing opportunity, which for me was almost like a foreign language. I had never been in sales before. I'd been in marketing, but it's two completely different things.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I was more on the administrative and the creative side of things.
The ideas, not so much on the knocking down the pavement type of thing, right?
Right. But I had been introduced to this concept with a health and wellness company, which I actually thought was really exciting, right? I just didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
So I literally, because you know the people that had introduced me to it, they say, well, make a list of everybody that you know. Well, they were all in Europe. I didn't know anybody here.
You didn't know anybody here, right?
So I literally took out the phone book and I just started calling. One of my greatest mentors, Mr. Jim Rohn, he says that there are times in your life where you come to that fork in the road, right? where you got to make that decision. Do I or don't I? Where you draw that line in the sand and say, no more, right? And that moment was the moment for me where I basically looked myself in the mirror and I said, never, ever again am I going to let somebody else dictate my income.
Hola, ¿qué tal mi gente? Mi nombre es Lupita Ramírez, estoy aquí en la ciudad de Las Vegas, Nevada, y bueno, pues yo los invito para que vean el programa Creando Nuestro Destino con Pablo Miguel Di Velo. Les va a encantar, van a tener mucho que aprender, así que no se lo pierdan.
Hi, I'm Glenn Alex, and I am inviting you to watch Pablo Miguel's Manifesting Your Dreams every Monday at 3 p.m. on socialmediashows.com. You won't regret it.
Tell us how you went from your idea to actually made it happen and how you use decision to make those things happen, because there's other people that at the same time had the book is still not published, right?
Right.
So how did you make that happen? Why don't you share that with us?
Well, it wasn't just a moment that created the book. I have 3 friends that I've had for decades, and they would always say to me, because I wrote my own newsletter, and they would always say to me,
you had a newsletter,
yes,
like an email or mail?
Both, email
Okay,
and mail, and I
okay.
would give to clients.
Okay,
and
good.
so these 3 friends on their own would say, when's the book coming out? You need to write a book, you need to write a book. This went on for 10 years or more. And so at the end of 2013, I went through the beginning, it was the beginning of the darkest period of my life.
Oh, wow.
And I sunk into an extremely deep depression. And through a series of events, I started to come out of it about 6 months later. At that time, I was introduced to author Patrick Snow and was presented with the opportunity to write a book. And still a little fuzzy emotionally and mentally, I asked myself, well, why would I write a book? And the answer that came back, and again, listening to your intuition and your inner wisdom, was why not?
Why not? There you go.
Why not? I've always loved to write. I'm very expressive on paper, and so the talent and the inclination was always there. It was just deciding to go further with it. And so when my inner wisdom said, well, why not? I said, okay. And I started writing. I started writing. It was like a year and a half that it took to write the book, because I'm a busy girl.
Absolutely.
I'm a busy girl. Other people can write in 2 months, but because I have other things going on.
Sure, absolutely.
And
yes.
the inspiration.
Well, time is going to happen anyway, right?
Yeah.
Time is going to go through anyway. So
it's going to happen anyway.
Oh, a year and a half. I don't have time to do that. Well, a year and a half is going to go like that.
So fast. It passed so fast. And then going through the editing process. And then there you go, living in total health.
Voila! Voila! Le livre. Great book, Living in Total Health, right? A fantastic book. By the way, I love the way it feels and everything. It's a quality book,
Thank
you know. So that
we wanted
also,
a Cadillac.
Yeah, we went to the Cadillac.
Yes.
So see, this is very interesting that you said, right? Because everybody has an idea.
Everybody
right?
has an idea.
An idea. Maybe I want to do this. Maybe I want to get into a relationship. Maybe I want to get out of a relationship. Maybe I want the job. Maybe I want to get out of the job, right? But it doesn't happen immediately. So it took 10 years of that marinating in your head. And then one day you said, okay, now it's going to happen, right? But just like you said, it's like, you know what is interesting? When you look at people that are very successful or people that we have a tendency to admire, right? Their lives look perfect.
They do.
Right? It's like, because media, unfortunately, right, they go like, oh my God, this artist, or there's like, you know, something that I learned, and you from LA, I thought that actors that I like always had jobs. Right? And then I find out this guy that I really like hasn't made a movie in 5 years, you know, and he's going through the dishes or whatever, and he's negative and frustrated and depressed. I said, no, you can't be depressed. You're my hero in that movie, you know. So it's like everybody that you admire, you need to know this, is going through the same trials and tribulations that probably you are, or if you are not, you will go through, right? But in the you said in your darkest moment, right? Somebody will say, right? Oh, I can't write the book now because, you know, I'm nobody. I'm down on the floor, right? Whatever, right? So in the same situation, you actually could make two very different decisions. You can use that situation to rationalize that it's not the right moment because you want to be very happy and, you know, somebody that loves you and be making a lot of money, right? Or say, you know what? What did you say? Say it again.
Why not?
Why not? Why not? Why not? Right?
If
Why
not? Now when?
If not now, when? So write those things down. Why not? And if not now, when you're gonna do it, right?
Yes.
And then after she made the decision, it took a year and a half, right? It wasn't like instant. The decision is made instantly, but then you need to put on the work, right?
You absolutely put in the work. And I'll tell you one thing about making a decision is the commitment comes with that decision. So I had no idea it would take a year and a half to write the book.
Do you think it was going to be shorter or
I
longer?
thought it would be shorter because
Okay.
I had all these ideas and I already had
Okay.
a lot of material written. Putting it together though was a different, turned out differently than I expected, though I'm really pleased with the outcome. However, the decision that I made to write the book carried me through the process. My commitment never wavered, even though it took longer than I anticipated.
Powerful.
Because when you make a decision, the commitment comes with it. And it's the same thing when I do a detox program. When I make the decision to do it, the commitment comes with it, and I can weather the storm of being really hungry.
Exactly.
and wanting something that I shouldn't have on that program. So don't doubt your ability to follow through. You make the decision, commit to the decision, and the rest will be revealed to you as you go through that process. You don't have to know every single detail up front.
That's not what I was supposed to be doing, and I knew it. And I kept falling deeper and deeper into that dark hole of why am I here? Who am I? And I decided, you know what? There's nothing for me here. I'm checking off the planet. I'm done. I was so full of anger that had built up through my childhood. I was angry at the world. I blamed the world for everything.
So you actually considered suicide?
I did.
Oh, wow.
I did. I actually put my kids to bed, and I went for a walk down a gravel road. You know, there's nobody to talk to back then. There's nobody that would listen to what was going on. But you know what? In Iowa, we have cornfields. They got lots of ears. So I started talking to the
Yeah.
cornfields, you know, and I started talking out loud. This is why I really express in a lot of the work that I help people with is listen to your thoughts out loud because they sound different than they think.
Oh, wow. That's
It's
interesting.
huge. It's huge. When you can hear what you're thinking, you'll get the best laugh of your life. I promise.
Wow.
Try it.
Okay.
Try it sometime. They say, you know, you talk to yourself, the white coats are coming. The white coats are going to come if you don't, right? They got it all wrong.
Yes.
You know,
Get it out.
So I'm out, and I really was upset with God. I really was. I spent 12 years in a parochial school, and I just started yelling at God. I mean, you talk about calling him every name in the book and blaming. I mean, I just rant and raved to the point of no end. And then it got quiet, and I hear this voice say, "Are you done?" I said, "No," and I started it again.
Wow.
Just screaming, getting all that anger and hate and frustration and unknowing out of my body, just screaming. And then I started crying. I started crying so profoundly that I couldn't hardly breathe. And then I heard the voice again say, "Are you done?" And I said, "Yes."
Wow.
That was my surrender. And that was number one, biggest aha moment of my life, right? And because I was planning my checkout, right? And then the voice says, "So who's going to take care of your kids if you're not here?" Now that's a slap into reality. I mean, a real slap back into reality, right? And it's like, are you kidding me? They're all under the age of 5. I got to be around here for a long time. It's
That's
like,
right.
all right, so now what am I going to do? It's like, fine. If I got to hang around for all this time, then let's make a deal. This is where I was, right? Let's make a deal. I'm in a dead-end marriage. I want out of it, right? I want out of Iowa. This is not where my life is supposed to be. I want to start living my dreams, my passions, what I want to do. I want to travel, you know. I want the good life, right? And I had a whole bunch of other things. I said, so, deal or no deal? He goes, deal. It's like, well, that was easy. You know, so again,
Wait, but you had to build up to it. Look at all the things you went through,
so
right?
that,
It was
exactly.
It was an uncomfortable situation, but you went through it, right?
It was. And I had no clue how I was going to do it. And it was like, so I could see where I wanted to be. I knew where I was, and that's not where I was going to stay. Now I had this deal. So you got to keep your end of the deal, right? So what am I supposed to do? And the words came, mind over matter. Give me that one book, The Power Formula, please. So if you look at this, it's understanding the systems of your life, the heart-mind connection. The heart-mind connection is the mind over matter. Okay? That's a lot what this book is all about and how I incorporated that. So I went to work and I just started following. I just started doing. I didn't think anymore. I just done. I just did, right? I ended up writing for 5 different newspapers, which is writing, right? Little did I know that's where it started. I actually did a radio show. Yeah, back in the mid 70s.
Wow.
Go figure, right? And
that was before the internet,
guys. That was way before the internet. I don't think that was even a thought, right? You know, so all this stuff led up to, and I started making my own money, right? And I started living my life for me and my kids, and what I was going to do. 5 years later, so it doesn't happen overnight all the time. 5 years later, I'm in Colorado. I'm divorced. I'm living the life of my dreams. You know, everything that I asked for came true. I built a 6-figure income in 3 years in the automotive industry, where it was a man's world back then. Women were not in this. I was what they called a wagon jobber.
Not in that decade.
No,
you know?
no. And I had these big purple trucks.
What did they call you again?
I was called BZ Distributing. I sold sandpaper to body shops. Okay?
Wow.
But I had an admiration and a respect because of my integrity and the integrity of the shops that I dealt with. I didn't have to sleep with them, which I was accused of because I was getting so much business from some of the other paint stores.
If a female is successful,
exactly.
They will assume they were
especially
sleeping.
back then. Especially back then.
oportunidad de que se han cruzado en mi camino personas que de una o de otra forma, pues, me han inspirado, me han hecho me han ayudado a aprender cosas. Y les voy a decir una cosita, de todas las personas, yo agradezco haberlas conocido, que hayan pasado por mi vida. Ya haya sido que de cierta forma me hirieron, me lastimaron, me hicieron sentir mal en algún momento. Yo lo agradezco, porque eso me ha hecho aprender, eso me ha fortalecido. Digamos, yo lo veo así, de todas las personas aprendemos a querer ser tal vez como ellas, o aprendemos a no querer ser como ellas.
¿Verdad?
Exactamente. Entonces,
el ejemplo a no seguir.
Exactamente. Entonces, de todo se aprende. Y yo aún no tomo la decisión, ¿verdad?, qué camino uno va a seguir. Yo he decidido que voy a tratar de ser una mejor persona. Y sí me ha dañado, me ha lastimado, me ha dolido mucho algunas experiencias que he tenido con algunas personas, porque pues yo como, digamos, si yo les ofrezco, yo les brindo mi amistad, es sincera completamente, por lo mismo que yo he vivido, me hace sentir que tengo la oportunidad de que si alguien tiene una necesidad de venir a contarme algo, yo estoy ahí para escucharles, porque yo tuve esa necesidad, ese deseo de tener a alguien y no lo tuve. Entonces, digo, Dios me ha dado la oportunidad de salir de eso en lo que yo estaba, y aquí estoy. Y si yo de alguna forma puedo ayudarle a alguna persona, yo aquí voy a estar para ayudar. Y cuántas cosas venimos a veces acarreando, cuántas cosas venimos cargando, como tú lo decías, muchas veces no queremos que la gente se entere, solamente queremos que vean la imagen bonita, la imagen feliz, algo que tal vez solamente estamos aparentando, pero no estamos para juzgar, estamos para ayudar, yo diría. Entonces yo, gracias a Dios, salí de eso y aquí estoy. Si puedo tender mi mano para ayudar a alguien, lo voy a hacer. Y de todo, pienso que eso también es como una fuerza que tenemos. Cuando tú empiezas a soltar lo negativo, empiezan a llegar más cosas buenas a tu vida. Y de una u otra forma, personas que se han cruzado en mi camino y se me ha dado la oportunidad de cumplir mis sueños que yo ya daba por muertos, que ya decía yo, no, pues ya nunca lo voy a realizar, nunca voy a poder hacer eso. Me casé, tuve una boda muy bonita, estoy enamorada de mi esposo, me siento feliz con mis hijos, me doy gracias de que pues simplemente con verlos saludables a mis hijos, que no andan en malos pasos, me hace sentir feliz, bendecida. Una cosita también que se me ha dado, como tú lo estabas mencionando al principio, de que he participado en algunas, pues sí, obras de teatro, en programas de televisión. Mira, cuando yo era pequeñita yo tenía ese sueño. Yo recuerdo que yo quería ser actriz. Por nuestra situación económica nunca se me dio ni siquiera el poder tener la oportunidad de participar.
Era como un sueño lejano.
Sí,
¿no?
ya yo lo había dado también por descartado. Mira, yo verdad que no te voy a decir ni cómo fue, porque no me acuerdo, que conocí a una persona y me dijo, bueno, ¿por qué no vienes? Vamos a hacer un programa de televisión, estamos grabando y necesitamos personas. Sí, para mí fue una experiencia hermosa, y ahorita, gracias a Dios, sí participé en 2 programas de televisión. He hecho 2 videos musicales, en algunas películas también, obras de teatro. Me siento feliz, me siento plena realmente.
Ok, hay gente que toma la decisión tirado en el sofá, está en el sofá y dice, voy a hacer tal cosa, y sigue viendo televisión. No, te levantás ahí y hace algo. Entonces, ese sueño que tú quieres, ese destino que quieres manifestar, ¿cuál sería una acción que tú puedes tomar hoy día, en este momento, mientras nos estás viendo? Quizás cuando termine el programa, define una acción que puedes tomar inmediatamente y la tomas, porque le estás dando un mensaje a tu mente subconsciente de que realmente tú quieres lograr eso, ¿ok? Entonces vamos a hablar un poquito ahora de negocios, porque Carlos Eduardo vive en Orlando, y de repente recibo un texto que me dice, Pablo, estoy acá en Las Vegas, a ver si nos podemos ver. Y yo estaba súper ocupado, realmente con una semana súper ocupada, porque estamos lanzando un proyecto nuevo, pero dije, tengo que juntarme con Carlos Eduardo, de alguna manera nos vamos a poder encontrar, ¿verdad? Y efectivamente nos pudimos encontrar. Contanos un poquito en qué estás trabajando, cuál es tu proyecto, dónde quieres ir en los próximos 5 años y cómo lo vas a manifestar.
Perfecto. Básicamente lo que decías recién, uno tiene que estar constantemente para adelante. Y cuando digo constantemente hacia adelante, es que si en tu trabajo ahora mismo o el negocio que estés ahora mismo, las cosas no funcionan y ya no te sentís de ahí, volvemos a lo mismo que decía hace un rato. Tenés que estar en una actitud mental positiva, una actitud mental de felicidad. Entonces tiene que tomar los cambios, ¿ok? Los cambios son fundamentales en la vida. Todo es un cambio. Hoy el Carlos Eduardo de hoy no es el mismo de la semana pasada, menos del mes pasado, menos de un año atrás, menos de 10 años atrás. Estamos cambiando constantemente.
Es una
Entonces,
evolución, una evolución constante.
La vida es una rueda que no para jamás, ¿ok? Mientras tú te frenas, te bloqueas por el miedo y te arrollas en una cama y estás encerrado 2 semanas, que no quieres saber nada, que no sabes lo que vas a hacer.
¿Por qué esto me pasó a mí? ¿O
La
¿por qué me
vida-
hicieron eso? ¿Qué injusticia? ¿No es cierto? Eso no ayuda para nada.
Para nada.
No ayuda para
o sea,
nada.
entiendo, obviamente, que si estás pasando por ese momento es normal, porque yo también lo pasé, Pablo todos lo hemos pasado. Pero cuando lo estamos pasando tenemos que saber en nuestra mente que lo que está sucediendo en ese momento de clausura, de bloqueo, de estrés, de decepción, de fracaso, es normal porque somos humanos. Pero como yo lo sé, tal vez en vez de estar 1 semana o 2 semanas deprimido, 1 mes, voy a estar 2 o 3 días. El tercer día resucité.
O 1 hora, o 5 minutos. Esa es una
como el ave fénix.
Esa es la diferencia. Todos van a pasar ese momento. La diferencia es cuánto tiempo te vas a quedar ahí, ¿no es cierto? O sea, quédate un ratito ahí, deja que salgan esas lágrimas, grita, pégale a la pared, lo que sea. ¿Okay?
O mírate al espejo.
Pero despiértate y date cuenta que en ese momento estás creando más de eso.
Exacto.
Porque y si hay una cosa que te acordaste del programa de hoy, es que todo nuestro pensamiento es creativo. No algunos sí, algunos no. ¿No es cierto? Entonces, si te quedaste ahí 5 minutos, estás creando 5 minutos de miseria en el futuro. Pero si te quedaste ahí 3 días, o como a veces gente hasta 3 meses, estás creando años de miseria en el futuro.